Yes guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. We are back for another Premier League Gazette and you can see it. Yes, you can. We are back in the coffee shop as well. Finally that lockdown has eased a little bit. I'm still socially distancing. I'm still pretty much on my own in here, but we are back in the coffee shop. I've got a coffee, we've got the papers. We're back for the Premier League Gazette, and unlike the last however many Premier League Gazettes, we have now got some football to talk about, with the Premier League swinging back into the thick of things. Last Wednesday, obviously it returned, and we got to see Arsenal lose. It's always great getting to see Arsenal lose. In fact, we've got to see Arsenal lose twice in less than a week since football has returned. So football's been back less than 7 days, and they've already dropped 6 points. That's almost a point a day. This could get very interesting just watching those like melt down in North London. But nevertheless, we're not just here to talk about them bellends. We are here to talk about loads more as well as the Premier League went underway. Yesterday we had a Merseyside derby that ended 0-0. And of course we've got news on a potential Saudi Arabian takeover of Newcastle, which has been delayed for some time. So we'll get stuck into them. And first up we have got the Daily Star. So make sure you're getting your comments in on everything that we're talking about. You're liking, you're commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining if you can as well. We're very close to 100. But as I was saying, here is the Daily Star. We're looking on the back. It says boost for Saudi Toon deal as the Saudi Arabian takeover edges closer. Newcastle Takeover looks to have moved a step closer after Saudi Arabia claimed to have launched a crackdown on TV piracy. They've cracked down on TV piracy and now the deal can go ahead. If only they cracked down on all the human rights abuses and all the nasty things they're doing in the world, in Yemen, elsewhere, all over the gaff. But nah, they've cracked down on the TV piracy, so I'm sure we'll allow them into the Premier League, we'll allow them to buy a football club, and we'll allow them to just whitewash and sports wash their whole name. It's all right, use like carry on. Can't believe it. That's the biggest deal, TV piracy in Saudi Arabia, not all the other things going on with that family. Anyway, moving on from that, we got Etihad better wait. Klopp admits he got lucky as Reds face a title clincher at City. Now, if results went right, Liverpool could have sealed the title in that game in the Merseyside derby. Results obviously didn't go their way. City won, and now they've drawn. They could have very easily lost. Dominic Calvert-Lewin had a few chances. One of them, if he holds his run, he scores a goal, which he did in the end, but he was offside. So very unfortunate. They're now 23 points clear though, with 8 games to go, 9 games for City. So, you know, they're not closing 20 points in 8 games. Let's not pretend anything's going on here. Liverpool have won the league and it's just a matter of time. Let's get stuck inside this Daily Star. And I'm not going into the front page because God knows what's going on in the Daily Star at the front. It's a party pooper for Klopp, they go on, and all that stuff. Board draw puts Klopp's Stars title celebration on hold. Yeah, I'm sure we can wait for all of that. They've got about 2, 3, 4 pages on that Merseyside derby. And then they've got a little bit here about Harry Kane. Now, calls for Harry Kane to speak up. Harry Kane has been urged to show public solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. The England captain won praise last year for his calls for tougher punishments for racism in football. But earlier this month, Cardiff defender Sol Bamba suggested Kane should join Raheem Sterling, Sancho, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Ryan Brewster in speaking out against the treatment of black men on both sides of the Atlantic. Wouldn't it be powerful for English football if the England captain came out? Now look, I don't want to criticise Harry Kane. I get what they're saying. It's easier if white people come forward and they show that they're allies with people that are fighting for justice. Of course it's important for that to happen. But trying to force someone to do something, maybe he's happy to sit back and allow people that know how to articulate themselves on the matter to speak instead of him being, speaking. It's not every day someone has to come forward and talk. If he's learning himself, if he's educating himself, then that's what he has to do firstly. You can't just jump out and start speaking about something, especially if he feels like he can't, speak properly on the matter. So I'm not against Harry Kane for this, but it's kind of been labelled at Harry Kane because he's the England captain. I get it though. If the England captain and more white footballers, obviously, which they are right now, stand next to these guys as allies, then you'll see a lot more changes happening a lot quicker. It shouldn't really be the victims that have to speak out and start saying X, Y, Z, because really it's not up to them to sort out, is it? Moving into the papers, and then it's on other sports, tennis. That's it really. No one wants to know about tennis, do they? Let's move on to another newspaper. They have got all the pull-outs as well inside, which is always good. This is the Mirror. Red mist on the back. Guendouzi ban. Threat for Gunner. Matteo Guendouzi showing more fight at the end of the game than he did during the game. Maybe if he was, roughing up players and trying to grab the game by the scruff of the neck rather than Neal Maupay at the end of the game. Arsenal might have done something. Absolute shithouse is Guendouzi. And Neal Maupay absolutely showed them. His interview after the game was excellent, wasn't it? Criticising Arsenal, telling them about themselves, and of course saying that they deserve to get beat on the day. Look, it was an unfortunate injury for Leno. I had Arsenal fans tweeting me all sorts on the weekend because I said it was an innocuous challenge. Those challenges have to happen. Those challenges happen 100 times a weekend on a football pitch. The injury was an accident. It was unfortunate. Leno pointing at the player and that, it's just all a bit weird to me. And Arsenal fans are just typical in it. They just want to moan. They just want headlines. They just want to complain about something. And this is what they can complain about this week. But Guendouzi, hopefully he gets a 3-match ban. Their team's ripped to shreds even more. And Neal Maupay still absolutely ripping into them everywhere else. You got beat by some relegation battlers, and then they come on TV and started talking crud about your team. I don't know. It must be mad to be an Arsenal fan right now. 2 defeats in a week. 2 defeats in less than a week, actually. 2 defeats in 4 days. Are you dropping 6 points in 4 days since football came back? Madness. Heaven can wait. Lacklustre Reds splutter to a draw against bitter rivals as Everton have the best of the derby and hold up the title challenge. Giroud 7-up. That was obviously a great win for Chelsea against Aston Villa. I was hoping Villa could do something, but after the first half, they got that goal. They didn't really look like holding on to it, and they didn't really look like capitalising on anything else. Didn't get Jack Grealish into the game enough. He is looking lost at the minute in that Villa side, and hopefully we can see an improvement of him. Or even if we don't see an improvement, probably makes the price tag a little bit cheaper for Man United. Has that changed? Has some of his performances changed your mind on Jack Grealish in this last week? I've seen a few tweets suggesting so. But me, personally, I'm still all for Jack Grealish coming to United if we can get him in, which I'm still doubtful on if Paul Pogba stays. Quinton Fortune's in here as well. It's been a long time since Quinton Fortune's been in any newspaper, and he's talking about dreaming of becoming a future Man United boss and insists he will not allow colour to block his ambition. The South African is at a loss to explain the small number of black coaches in football and feels racism is a huge issue. He admits it would be great if there were a system in place to boost equal opportunities. I want to be given the job because of my ability. I want to always be judged because of my character and what I can bring to the team, not because of the colour of my skin, says Quinton Fortune. And he is obviously in a managerial role now, so let's see how he gets on there. Maybe he can start climbing up the football pyramid and make his name as a manager. You don't have to be the greatest of players to be the best of managers, but fingers crossed Quinton Fortune can have a decent career. We've got something here from Jason Brown, who's a goalkeeper. He used to play for Blackburn in Wales. He now lives in America, and he's commenting on all of that stuff as well. And it's great to see that it's still in the news. It's not just a social trend for a week. It's not just trending on Twitter for a week and then disappears, because that's how nothing ever changes. You have to keep stepping on people's necks, keep making the voices heard, keep getting the message out there. And he's talking about it again. I won't go out after dark. I'm scared to drive. I can't run in my neighbourhood in case someone feels threatened by a black guy and opens fire. That's the reality of life for black men in America. Now you're probably thinking, mate, he's overreacting a little bit, but come on, if you see what's going on out there, you can understand why he would feel that way. And I suppose it's one of those things that you think would never happen to you until it happens to them. And yeah, I can totally understand that, but it's maybe if you don't understand or you don't relate, you should read articles like that to maybe find out a little bit more. Like I said, education is key. Again, they got that thing on Kane being told to speak up. Newcastle's deal edging closer as well. And let's go into the paper on the inside right here. We've got the sports pages inside with the football pullout from bad to curse as Sheffield United dropped points 3-0 against Newcastle, and that was a great result again for us. Can't believe I'm saying that, but we kept Sheffield United off our backs, which is always good. Now I did want to look at something in here. which was, what did I point out earlier? Next up, we got the Times, and on the back of here, Klopp given a fright. I still don't know why they're just trying to call it a fright and why they're trying to call it this, that. Liverpool could lose the next 3 games, 4 games, they're still winning the league, so stop trying to hype this up. COVID test hoax Djokovic event. You seen Novak Djokovic event this weekend with him hugging up everyone and everyone's got coronavirus there? Well done, mate. Well done. So, I don't even think this has got sports pages. This is a bit of a mare, innit? Pay £2 something for this fucking paper. And nobody pays £2 to read about rugby, that's for sure. Alright, looks like that's what I wanted to talk about. So here we go, the Times, the game. Alright, this is what I was on about earlier. So we got the game here, the Times. Now if you look at this, yeah, and you look inside, you get the player ratings from the Liverpool game. Everton 0, Liverpool 0. Liverpool didn't play great. But if you look at these player rates, and you look at them here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of Everton's players got voted 5 or 6 player rating. Liverpool's players, they had 3 on 8, 2 on a 7. So they're saying Liverpool played above average, yeah, most of their players. And Everton played below average, but somehow it was 0-0, and Everton had the better chances in the game. I don't understand. Look, they're going to win the league. You don't need to start sucking them off in the player rating section when they draw 0-0 at Everton. Do you know what I mean? It's a little bit of a weird one to me. Dominic Calvert-Lewin got a 6. A 6. He was probably the best striker on the pitch. You know, I don't get it. How is Fabinho on an 8? Andre Gomez in a 6. They battled in the same midfield. But yeah, you don't need to do this. It's going to be sickening when they win the league. These papers are going to be worse. They've just been waiting for them to do it for years and years and years and years. And hopefully it'll be years and years and years to the next one after this as well, because I don't know how we're going to cope this summer. I really don't. Good thing it's a quick turnaround to next season, innit? Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. We've been back with the Premier League Gazette. Make sure you're keeping it locked, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. We're 5 members away from 100 members on our channel. We set that target by the end of June. Help me hit that target by clicking that join button. And for now, let us know what you thought about everything that we discussed today. And also the other news that Jadon Sancho's head could already be at Manchester United after he missed 80 minutes of the game against Leipzig at the weekend. Let us know in those comments below. Like, comment, share and subscribe. And for now, I've been AdamMcKola. You lot have been legends. We're out of here.